Johnny, did you enjoy the festival?
Oh, first of all, I can't believe you can't remember the name of my film.
I'm so sorry. No, I got
Swinging
it.
with
Swinging
the
with the Finkles.
How can you forget that? Did I enjoy the festival? I had a fantastic time. It was, I stepped in and moderated a few sessions for you, as well as being a panelist on some of the sessions. But I think it was great. It was lovely to be able to give back. Everyone was really enthusiastic. It was a lovely atmosphere. You know, we did one amazing session together, which I don't know, you won't be able to see because we didn't record it.
No,
but
we didn't.
It was quite electric, that's all I will say.
Yeah. So, you did this session, 50 Ways into the Business.
Yes.
What were some of the ways into the business that were very popular in that session?
God, well, I went in there with 50 index cards, and we only got to number 11 because it was kind of so much talk and so popular. What I will say before we get into this, as a preface, is there's no one way to break into the industry, and I think everyone was looking for the golden egg, the panacea, the one, the ticket, if you will, to get that's going to transform their lives. And there is no one way, and I think we'll probably come to a few conclusions at the end of this 20 minutes or half an hour, however much we have, about how one breaks into the industry.
Right.
That was a way of dodging the question, because I can't actually remember much of the session myself, but we'll go through...
So you've got your cards with you.
I have the cards.
How are we going to do this?
Well, I think we'll start with just pick a card. How's that? Like an old-fashioned magic trick. And we can sort of talk about whatever one we happen to come up with. So why don't you...
Okay, I'll pick a card.
Pick a card, any card.
I'll tell you what. Option a script and produce it.
There you go. Option a script. Would you like to comment on that? Or,
well, I guess the implication here is that most emerging screenwriters, they go, or filmmakers, they think, oh, well, I've got to write my own script and make my own film, but that means you're stuck with yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
And there is a world, there's an ocean of talent out there that is available to you, sometimes very cost effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what it also helps you do is takes the it gives you your control of your destiny again. Instead of having to rely on someone else optioning your script and producing it, it's allowing you to take control of your destiny again by taking someone else's work and making it. Even if it's a short film, it doesn't have to be a feature where you're trying to raise an exorbitant amount of money. It can be a fantastic short film that someone else has written, or in fact that you have written. You get whatever resources you can, put it together, make the film, and you've got something concrete instead of something that's just theoretical or on paper.
Right. Interesting. So we want to get as many comments from the chat room on these tips, and if you've got any ways into the business you want to share as well, please share them with Pete, and we'll get to them at the end of Johnny's section. So
yeah, I'll pick the next one. We'll put these in the middle.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. The cold call or the letter.
The cold call or the letter. That sounds scary.
Yeah. I mean, I've certainly, throughout the sort of 15 years I've been working in the industry, I've cold called and sent many cold letters. And, I think 95% of the time it will get ignored. But there is the odd 5% of the time, or probably less than 5%, where someone might have the good grace to actually pick up the phone or read what you've written. I'll give you a great example. When I made my first feature film back in 2000, it was being considered with David Tennant, who is now Doctor Who. I made that on £10,000, and the way that I got the money was through one cold phone call. And I had the Cannes MIPCOM guide, and I was riffling through it, and I noticed that British Telecom attended Cannes. And I thought, this is incredibly odd that British Telecom goes to Cannes. They must have some kind of multimedia interest. And there was one woman, one picture, one telephone number, picked up the phone, called that woman gave me £10,000.
Right. That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
That is extraordinary. And of course, interestingly, you say write a letter. This is the day and age of sending an email. And for me, if you send an email, you might as well forget it because it just is spam.
It is spam. Yeah.
So write a letter, go old school, and actually put it on a piece of paper, put it in the post.
Correct. And I've got another very good example of that. A few years ago, Kathleen Kennedy, who is Steven Spielberg's producer, was doing a Q&A after a BAFTA screening. And I knew she was going to be there, and, being the opportunist that I am, I put together a little package with a lovely handwritten letter and a script. And after the Q&A, I saw her leaving the cinema, and I said, Kathleen, would you mind taking a look at this? Thinking it will get thrown in the bin. To my surprise, 2 or 3 weeks later, I had I think it was an email, I can't remember, but an email from Kathleen Kennedy in response to the work. She had actually taken the trouble of bringing it with her all the way back to Los Angeles, reading it and responding to me. So, while most of the things do get deleted, occasionally it can happen. And I think the moral of that story is to continue to take blind action,
right,
and to take chances.
That's interesting, because it's one of the things that plays into the session that we ran at the festival, which we called Manifesting Success.
Yeah.
We couldn't film it because it would have been too personal and people wouldn't have let go of some of their ways of being. But what we tend to do as human beings is we look into the past for what happened in the past and we put it in the future. And we say, well, in the past, I got rejected, nobody responded to me, so there's no point writing a letter, because that's what's going to happen in the future, and it's escaping your past and creating a clear future where anything is possible. And that's where the magic happens. That's when that's when things really start to happen.
That's right. I'm a firm believer of ignoring rejection. I mean, it makes you feel shitty for a couple of days, and I think as filmmakers, no matter where you are in your career, you always have to deal with rejection. Even when you become successful, there's hoops to jump through. I always say it's not the rejection that kills you, it's the hope. It's the constant dangling carrot in this industry that you may one day, which is kind of just out of reach. It's there. You can see it and smell it, but it's just out of reach. Because rejection, you learn to take rejection and get thick-skinned. And another great example of that for me in my life was, when I first went out to get an agent, I thought I targeted... I said to myself, who is the best agent in the country? And I did my research, got a list of the best agents, sent my work, my showreel, to an agent in that company, I won't name it, got a very standard rejection letter back, completely ignored it, sent another letter with another showreel to a different agent in the same agency, got another standard letter back, sorry, too busy with our clients, ignored it, sent a third letter back to a different agent, same showreel, and got an agent.
Fantastic. That's the result. And no doesn't mean no. No means try again. No
means try again. It means don't give up. I think we take rejection very heavily. We make it mean something bigger than it is.
Right.
And again, coming back to our model of what makes success, it's about taking action in the face of obstacles, and one of those obstacles will always be rejection.